Hello, it's Parm King, the Dungeon Master to Legends of Barovia, a Curse of Strahd campaign, and I'm excited to bring to you part 2 of the lighting for Foundry version 7. I'll be including two modules, the Community Lighting module as well as the FX Master module for special effects. There'll be three different battle maps I'll cover today. The first battle map will be an outdoor battle map. We'll discuss Fog of War and Token Vision. The second battle map will be a manor, which will include outdoor lighting, fire lighting, candle lighting, and torch lighting. The final battle map will be a cavern battle map, which will have outdoor lighting, firelight, and torch lighting, but some special effects lighting, including structural and ceremonial lighting. Now make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll be performing the entire werewolf taming ceremony, including the special effects and special effects lighting, as well as the ceremonial music. Now, if you can guess what the ceremonial music is, please leave your answer below in the comment sections. Surprisingly, during the game, one of my players actually guessed what it was. Now, maybe it wasn't such a surprising guess since this player is also studying their PhD in as a linguist in different foreign dialects. However, I will give you this hint. There are a group of people living in every country in the world practically that will recognize this ceremonial music, even though I slightly altered it. And if you're one of those people, leave your answer in the comments below. Now let's start off with the first battle map, the outdoor battle map, and talk about how we set up the map and the configuration, and then jump right into the lighting. Now, in all of these battle maps, I haven't put any lighting in it yet. I'm going to go through it with you so you can see how I do it. And I think you'll realize once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty quickly. Now, the first thing we're going to do, this is, by the way, the Crossroad battle maps. I use this battle map in Curse of Strahd at the Crossroads. The configuration of your battle map here is I always make sure to turn off my grid opacity. Now, unfortunately, in this particular battle map that I have, it already includes the grids drawn into the image, but I always like to remove my grids from my token vision. I don't want my players to see the grid. Now, one of the things that's different than the theater of the mind maps versus the battle maps is you inverse the entire setup. In battle maps, make sure you select your token vision. Make sure you have your Fog of War turned on and turn off global illumination. This is the exact inverse of your Theater of the Mind maps. Now, I'm going to always set my darkness level between 0.75 roughly and 1. Now, in this one, I have it set to 9. And the reason for that is you're going to want your lighting to show up for your players. If you have your darkness level set to 0, none of your lighting effects will happen. Now we go ahead and hit save changes, and in each of these I have a token. I already have a token in here. This map is very dark at the moment, but I'll just click on the token very quickly so you can see the token vision here, and we can talk about Fog of War. Now look right now from the token vision, and I'm going to tell you really quickly, all my tokens I set visions up to 60 unless they have dark vision, 60 dim, 0 bright vision. I don't want them to have bright vision because it just kind of washes out any lighting that I do. So it's always dim vision that I set up. Now you can see here that they have the Fog of War. They can't see the rest of the map. And I have some things that are blocking their vision because I've set up some walls. Let's take a quick look at the walls really quick on here. As you can see, I'm using the terrain wall features to create some shadows. Now we're going to go ahead and drop in global illumination. It's not a global illumination, but I would say it's a moonlight, so it kind of lights up the scene. Now this is seen as outdoors. It's a Curse of Strahd scene. There's always kind of this mist, I imagine the lands of Barovia always having kind of this moonlight or kind of bluish glow because there's always this mist hanging over everything. So I'm going to put the light right here in the center, and I'm going to go all the way out to include the entire map. When I double click on the light and when I'm going to do outdoor lighting, I get rid of the bright light radius and hit 0 here. So there should be no bright light radius. It's only going to be dim light, radius. I'll just set this to 90 and hit update. So now we have the radius of the light. And there's some things I want to point out here that's rather important. This light is not a global light, it's a light from a source. And so it's going to have some shadow effects of that. And you can see that right here. All these places where I had these terrain walls, the light won't cast past them. And you can move this around to see where you want it exactly. And I'm imagining this is moonlight, and so there's going to be some shadows from the moonlight. We'll just leave it right here. For this example. The next thing I'm going to do is going to set what does this moonlight look like? Well, obviously it's going to be blue in color. So I'm going to select a blue color here. And this looks pretty good. And I'm going to use one of the special effects, the lighting animation. And in this one, I'm going to use the ghost light. Now, the ghost light kind of creates this almost foggy and kind of light that's always kind of changing. It's moving a little too fast for me. And again, when we're doing lighting, we want to think about lighting in two ways. One, we want to think of it as more of an ambient light. We don't want it to take over the scene, but kind of enhance the scene. And that's what we want to do here. So we're going to go ahead and slow down the animation speed to 1. So it's very slow. We're going to also lower the color intensity down a little bit. Okay, and we can up the animation intensity. And there we go. So now we have this moonlight. You can see that it's slowly changing. It's kind of this moonlight going through the mist here as you're traveling. Now, one thing that what happens is that when you have lighting and you're using a battle map, your players will see the entire area that's lit up. Now, for me, that's okay. I don't mind my characters being able to see beyond their normal distance, and I think that's kind of true of all of us in real life. If we're standing, for instance, in a mountain range and if there's a moonlight, I can see, all the way out to the horizon. I can see at least, whatever the horizon is, 12 miles, under the moonlight. Now, I'll still have fog of war. Whatever's behind a tree or behind a rock, I won't be able to see. So I don't really have a problem with them seeing more of the map that is not either hidden or masked by fog of war. So let's look over on how our token sees this map. And you're going to notice something right away. They're going to be seeing the map all the way through where the lighting is. However, there's a couple of things that we should point out here, because how you're going to set up your encounters and what you want your characters to see or not see are rather important. So there's some areas on the map that I want to point out to you. I'll move the token and show you how that changes as well. Now, if we zoom in closely right here, we notice that the character cannot see here. This is hidden by the fog of war. It hasn't been revealed yet. We can also see a shadow from the moonlight right here. So the character can see this area from their token vision, but they can't see this because of fog of war. And so you see these lines here. This is just the shadow coming from the moonlight. And this is invisible from the character's perspective. The other thing that we notice here right away, if we zoom in, is we should be able to see the range of our token vision slightly. It should be somewhere out in here. Now, as I move the token, I'll click on the token here, and she's going to move forward. We're going to notice that the fog of war changes. And as we go around this tree, we know that we've already exposed all of this now. She knows all of the information behind this tree, and she's obviously probably committed it to memory. Now, when I move back, unlike before, there is some opacity here, but you can see what's behind it. The fog of war has revealed by her movement what's behind it. Again, we still have the shadow of the moon, and now we have this area that she knows what's behind it because she's seen what's behind it. So she has a memory of the terrain. Now, what's important here is that if there happens to be an enemy here, even though she's revealed the terrain, she will not be able to see the enemy because she still can't see on the other side of this tree. The tree is blocking her vision. What we've exposed is her memory of the terrain. So these are some important factors when you're going to do some lighting. Now, I'm going to do a couple of more things here, add some special effects to it. I'm going to click over on my FX module, and I'm going to add some fog to this scene. So I click on fog, and I'm going to open this up. I'm going to lower down my density, and I'm going to speed up the fog and lower the scale a little bit, and go ahead and save changes. And what you're going to see now is some fog come in here. And what the fog will do is kind of start masking and hiding some terrain features. And you can see the fog now kind of showing up, and mixed with the lighting, the moonlighting, it really creates this spooky type atmosphere. I'm going to add two more features with the FX module here. I'm going to go ahead and add crows, because we do have crows in this scene. I'm going to lower the density. I'm going to put them in there. And I'm also going to add in some top-down rain, because it's going to be slightly drizzling. I'm just lower down the density of that as well and hit save changes. And I have some music in the background. I'll just play the ambient music so you can hear it. There's the crow flying. There's another crow here. You can see a little bit of the rain coming down. And we've really kind of set this kind of spooky atmosphere. There's some graves up here, some old trees, and we're at this crossroads. So this is a great scene to have a really cool encounter, perhaps with some undead or a wolf or something like that. I really like these types of outdoor battle maps. And with the lighting effects and the FX effects, you can do some amazing things. Let's move on to the next battle map. It's the Manor. This is a manor that I've made in the city of Vallaki. I've added this to the campaign. I added a character named Falkon von Hapsburg, and we're going to do his first battle map here. So here we're going to review the scene. Now, I've turned off all the lighting to this battle map. There's no lighting turned on, and I'm going to show you what I did. I deleted it all. I'm going to start from scratch and show you how I did it. The first thing we're going to look at that's always important for me is to look at where the walls are. And we're going to see a couple of things here. I have some windows here, out here, and doors and terrain walls here. That's all going to affect lighting. It's important to take a look at what kind of walls you have, whether it's terrain walls, the glass walls, or the translucent walls, or and doors, because all your lighting effects will be affected by those walls. The first type of light we're going to do for this is our outdoor lighting. And why do we want to do outdoor lighting? Well, there's two reasons for it. The characters might be doing something outside, and additionally, I like to have light streaming through the windows, kind of add some additional atmosphere inside the manor. Now, the way I do that is I'm going to create a light source at the corner of the map up here. I'm going to go ahead and expand it all the way across the map. So it's right to here. I'm going to click on the light, and I am going to turn off the bright light radius and hit 0 there and hit update. Now, before I do any of my lighting effects, and you can see the light is now streaming through these windows of the manor, you want to pick out where you want your light to go. And as you move it around, you can see how you want to stream. I think right here in the corner is going to be fine. So I'm going to just leave it right there. And now we're going to set up the mood lighting of this type of light. Again, I'm going to do some dark blue. It's going to be kind of, we're here Curse of Strahd, so we're going to make it kind of dark. And we're going to use the ghost light again. Well, that was the Hexstone, not the ghost lighting. That'd be kind of crazy. That'd be science fiction. Or Curse of Strahd, kind of gothic horror. So we're going to go with the ghost lighting. I'm going to lower down the color intensity a little bit. I'm going to slow down the animation. I like to slow down the animation a lot. And one of the things about lighting animation to think about is the more you animate the light, the more it's changing, the more it kind of takes away from the scene. The lighting becomes the feature, not the scene or the battle map. So lowering down the animation effect allows the characters to focus more on what's going on in the battle map, and the lighting becomes more an ambient thing for them rather than the focal point. So I lowered down the animation speed We can also, if you want to increase the animation intensity, you can. I'm going to have it, I think right here at 5 for both is pretty good. I'm going to hit update light. And now we have this kind of slow blue, creepy light, and it's going to be for outside, which is going to be great if my characters do go outside. In fact, in this campaign they did. There was a vampire spawn. They chased it outside. But it's also going to stream light into the manor. Now, I'm going to put 2 of these on here. So I'm going to just highlight this, hit Control C and copy. And I'm going to add another one to the other side of the map over here somewhere, Control V. And let's zoom out a little bit. And again, where do you want the light to stream in the windows? You can move it around and see how I want it to stream. I like it streaming through these windows like that. And so we're done with our outdoor lighting. We've got this kind of moonlight, ghostly lighting streaming into the house through the windows. We also have it outside if our players are outside. And again, I don't mind this for my players because, again, the fog of war for me is really kind of hiding and masking things. Okay, lighting number 2 for this is going to be the torch lights. And let's do one of those. So we're going to zoom in. And there is a torch right here outside. So we're going to start with this one. We're going to just click on the torch and kind of drag it out. And I'm going to click on this and I'm going to give you a couple of rules of thumbs. When I do my torch and candle lighting and fire lighting, I have this ratio that I always like to use. So my bright light my bright light radius is going to be my dim light radius is going to be 3 to 5 times bigger than my bright light. So if my bright light is 3 in this example, my dim light radius is going to be 9. Okay, and we're going to see that here. So I have bright light radius of 3, dim light radius of 9. We'll just save that right there. And this is going to give you the idea, and you can see here where the bright light radius is and the dim light radius is. So let's click on this again. We're going to turn this into a torch. And I'm just going to use the regular torch feature from the new update of version 7. This is not part of the community lightings by Blitz, but just to make this simple because some of you might not have that module installed. So the torch light. Now, a couple of things about the torch light. If you don't have a color selected, what's going to happen is it's just going to lower the darkness of the scene setting to whatever the brightness level is. And again, if we come up here to configure, one of the things that we want to do is turn the darkness level up as high as you want. I recommend between 0.75 to 1 because that's going to allow you to see the light. And make sure you have token vision turned on, fog of exploration, and turn off global illumination. Okay, since we have that set in here, if we don't have any light in here at all, again, it's going to do is it's turning off the darkness level that you have set, and there's no color at all involved. But we're going to add some color to this, and one of the things that we're going to do in color is we don't want to select the brightest color because what's going to happen if we select the brightest color, it can wash that out. So we're going to lower that color down to make it a little bit darker. It's in the yellowish orangish spectrum. We can change the color intensity down a little bit here. Animation speed, slow that down. I'm going to do probably around a 2. And the intensity, you can make it more intense so it's or less. And once you like it, take a look at it. And once you like it, and say, hey, this is good for my torch. I like the bright radius, the dim radius. What you're going to do is just control copy and just go through your map and just, well, let me see. I got to control copy and go over here and get control paste. And you're just going to go through your map and just paste it all over your map. And you're going to see how fast this is. I'm just going through here really quickly and lighting up my entire map with these torches. And it doesn't take any time at all once you find where the lighting features are in your map. And you can see this is fairly simple to do. It's just, Control V, and I'm just pasting these in here. It might take you a little bit of time, not too much time, but, grab your favorite beverage and just sit down and have some fun doing this. And what you're going to see is as you're doing this is you're really creating some atmosphere for your game. I think there's one out here. You know, there's not too many of them, and this doesn't really take too much time at all. I actually find it quite enjoyable, actually. You know, kind of your little lighting zen time. Okay, that looks like pretty much all the torches in here. So we have all the torches. So we've just finished our torches. Let's going to do candle lighting. Candle lighting is what I like to do is more of a feature lighting rather than lighting the scene up. And there's a candle right here on his desk. So I'm going to do a light here. Oh, got the light feature on. Sorry, that was my Game Master thing. There we go. And I'm going to click on this, and my bright light radius is going to be 1, and my dim light radius is going to be 3. I'm going to use torch again in this one, but this time I'm going to make my candle really, really bright. And I'm going to raise up the color intensity of this. In fact, you can make it pretty bright if you want, because it's a pretty small location. You could make the animation a little faster and the intensity maybe a little bit more because the candle light's flickering. And there we go. Let's take a look at that. Now you've got, unlike the torches or the lighting features, the candle light becomes more of a feature type lighting. So we're going to make a couple of those. I'm going to hit Control C. And I think there's another one here on the table here. Let's move it there. Unfortunately, you can't always line them up exactly where you want them. Oh, there's some candelabras here on the table. Maybe I'll grab that. So the candelabras on this dining room table, that's a good area. There's a candelabra right over here, it looks like. So I'll put one right here. Do we have any other candles? Oh yeah, there's one on this table over here. Put one right here. Boom. And you can do this in however you want to do it. So now we've got some candle lights, we've got our torch light, and we've got our outdoor light. The next lighting we're going to do is our fireplaces. So let's start with this one right here. And we're going to take a light and we're going to expand it out. Now you remember the formula that I want to use, so I'm going to click on here. I want my dim light radius to be 4. And we're going to do anywhere between 3 to 5 times of our bright light radius as for our dim light radius. And since it's a fireplace, I want it to be a little bit, instead of 3 times, I'm going to go 4 times. So that's going to be 16. Radius is going to be 16. And I'm going to save that. And that's going to show us the range here of, here's the bright light of the fireplace and here's the dim. And for the fireplace lighting, what I'm going to use is starlight. Now, when you first click it on, it's going to go, well, wait a second, that does not look like a fire. So we're going to have to do some little adjustments to make it look like a fire. And the first thing I'm going to do is obviously change the green to a kind of an orange color here. I'll make it a little darker orange. We're going to slow the animation speed down to 1. You can change your intensity of your lights however you want to. Color intensity, you know, probably below 5, and update light. And now what you have here is you have, if you can faintly see, you remember this lighting is ambient lighting. You don't want it to overpower. You can see these kind of slow lighting effects coming through here. That's kind of showing you the embers and maybe fire kind of casting out into the room. I'll just turn up just a little bit more so you can see it here, and maybe make up the animation intensity a little bit more. There you go. And update that. Now, once, just like you had your other lighting, once you like that, you just click on it, highlight, make sure it's highlighted, hit Control C, and we'll just put them in the other fireplaces here. Where's the fireplace here? Move it right down there into the fireplace. We've got a fireplace up here. Move that into the fireplace. I think we have a fireplace over here as well. I'll just put it over in here as well into the kitchen. And now really quickly, we've kind of added a bunch of lighting, you know, copy and paste. Once you set up your first light, it looks great. Let's take a look at this from our character's perspective. So here's von Hapsburg himself. He is in his den. He's got his candles lit. The fireplace is kind of lit up the room. You can see the light kind of streaming in through the window here, changing effect a little bit. If he goes into the next room and we open the doors here into this next room, he can travel into the dining room. And again, he has some light he can see outside. And he's got the fireplace and the light of the dining tables lit up. And then we can go down to his billiards room and check out his billiards room right here. And again, we have the lighting feature from the fireplace, the candle light, and then there's some light from the outside streaming in. And you've really created a fun and unique atmosphere for your players to really enjoy. Okay, let's move on to the next battle map. This battle map is again from Curse of Strahd, and this is the Werewolf Den. So let's go ahead and activate the Werewolf Den. Now, again, what we want to do in the Werewolf Den before we start anything is go ahead and look at our walls here, understand our terrain features in here. One of the things that I do in my battle maps, and this is just a little side tip, is you'll see here I've got these walls that are the mask walls. You can travel through them, but what they're doing is they're masking visibility and light. And I do them at angles so that when my token or my players here, they can see that these are stairs heading down and it's at an angle and they can just move through this and then they can see the light that's in this particular room. I do that on the stairwells as well because you know, maybe it's kind of dark around the stairwell. And so I maybe want to hide a token or hide an enemy or create more fog of war because of the lighting or maybe their vision. So I go ahead and I use these, it's the mask walls like that. So we've got this scene. This scene has a outdoor scene here. It has some torches on the inside. We can see that they're drawn in here. There's a water pool here, and we're going to be doing our Wolf Den ceremony here. One of the first things I also want to point out is lighting up some important factors that your players might need or some player aids. And what I did is I marked off the north, east, south, and west and put a wall around it. And I'm going to go ahead and light that up first. And I'm just going to put a light in there. It can be a bright light, whatever you want to do. You can make it a color if you want to, just for fun, that fits in with the story. And you can make it maybe, you know, a ghostly light like this. And you update this. And this allows the players to see their direction, north, east, south, and west. So if there's any features or notes on the map that you think are important for your characters to see or to understand, go ahead and just box it off, light it up like that. And it's helpful. The characters, if they get separated, they did in this particular map, they go, hey, we're north of you. And the player can look on the map and see where north is relative to where they are. So it's a helpful feature if you want to go ahead and add it. So let's go ahead and do our torch lights. First, there's a torch light right here. Again, I'm going to do the lighting effect here, and we're going to figure out how big we want this torch light. We're going to do the bright light radius. Let's say we're going to do 6 is good. Let's make it 8, and let's make it 4 and 16. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and use the blurry torch here, blurred torch. And we're going to make it a kind of a darky orange color here. And let's make it a little darker here, dark orange color. We're going to slow down the animation speed and the intensity and update that. Let's make it a little darker here. We got this secondary light effect we want to make darker. And let's move up the animation. It's a torch. Yeah. So you're gonna, this is ambient atmosphere lighting. Now, if you like that, check that out. What we're gonna do is just hover over it, hit copy, and we're just gonna go through the wolf den and just paste them where all the lights are. And it's pretty, you can see it's pretty easy to do here by just pasting them, just putting your mouse over where the light is. Sometimes they don't line up just exactly where you want it. Just put it over each one of these, and here you go. So this is a pretty fast and easy thing to do. Once you've figured out what your main light is or how you want it to look, you're just gonna plop it in there, and you've got your torches here that are along the wall in your wolf den. Here's another one right here. And I'll show you some up in the upstairs area here where I did you can see the walls, the lighting is kind of blocked because of that invisible wall that I put in there. And so that forces the players to move a little further through each one of these here. There we go. So this is pretty quick. I mean, this is going really quick, as you can see. There we go. There we go. Is there any more light? Yep, there's one here. And there's one here. So look, in a matter of less than a couple of minutes, we've lit up the entire wolf den with all the torches, and that was fairly quick. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some outdoor lighting because your players are going to start outdoors. And similar to what we did with the von Hapsburg Manor, we're going to be going ahead and doing a ambient light outdoor light here. Again, we're going to turn our bright light radius to 0. Make sure you hit update light source. We're going to click on that. We're going to make it blue again because it's night, you're in the mountains. We're going to make it the ghostly lighting here. We're going to slow down the intensity slow down the animation speed to 1. Leave the intensity up there a little bit. Maybe we make it even a little bit more intense because they're in the mountains, the snowy mountains. And there we go. We have our outdoor lighting, and you can see the shadows cast. This, you need to move this around to wherever you want the shadows to cast, if you want them to cast inside or from the side or wherever. So just put that light source wherever you want. So now we've got our torch lighting. We've got our outdoor lighting. Next we're going to do is some special effects lighting. And I'm going to do one here. There's a spring or underground spring in here. And we can light the spring up and kind of give the spring the look of water and maybe magical water. So here we're going to do that, magical water lighting. So we're going to open this up and bring out the edge of the light to the edge of the water here. We're going to turn off our bright light radius, and we're going to select the swirling fog, and we're going to do like a blue swirling fog. And now we're going to change this. It's a little bit maybe too blue. Take a look at it. If you want the animation speed to be faster, like more like water, the intensity, bring that down, maybe the color intensity a little bit. There you go. So now you've got this water that's kind of blue now and actually moving around. Let's, for the sake of this video, I'm going to just bring up the color intensity more and animation intensity. Maybe there we go. I think that looks good. So here's our water inside the, it's lit up. It's got its own light source, and it's kind of looking like water and kind of sprawling around. Now for our ceremony. Now, in my game, my version of Curse of Strahd in the Wolf Den, one of my players have been cursed with lycanthropy. And there is a ceremony they can perform, which I call the taming, which allows them to control the beast within, to be able to control when they turn into a werewolf. And the ceremony is performed in this particular room, and the character has to be locked inside one of these cages to go through the ceremony. And I wanted to create some lighting special effects and some sound effects for the ceremony. So let's talk about the lighting effects. In this type of situation, you're going to turn on and off the light as the dungeon master while you're playing the game, and the lighting itself becomes the focal point. It becomes either structural or part of a ceremony, and the lighting is representing something's happening to your players. It's no more the ambient lighting of torches or outdoor lighting. It is actually lighting effects that are happening at the moment. So we're going to add some lighting effects here. The first thing is we have the statue, the werewolf statue, in which is going to be the focal point of the ceremony. And so we're going to put a light effect, click right on the statue, and we're going to turn off again the bright light radius. I'm going to make that 0. We're going to expand the dim light radius out to 40. And hit, maybe let's make it 50. Let's try to fill up this entire room. Maybe a little bit more, 50. Let's make it 70. Let's see if that takes it, how far that takes it out. There we go. So the whole room is going to be lit up by this light. We're going to make the light, and we can make it a red. Let's make this, because it's werewolves, make it kind of a red light. And we're going to do this. What are we going to do here? Mysterious. The statue is going to be putting off this kind of mysterious light. This is called mysterious emanation. And we're going to slow the speed down. We're going to increase the intensity. We can really raise up the color intensity if we want. No, we don't want it to be too intense. Maybe we should make the, see if that's better there. Yeah, there we go. And we'll make the speed a little bit faster and the animation intensity a little bit more. There we go. Let's see, bring that up a little bit more. So there we go. We've got our light source for the ceremony that's coming right off the statue. Now, each of the players that is a werewolf or trying to control their being a werewolf is going to be locked in one of these cages. And we have this character is going to be locked in this cage, and we're going to put a light in this cage here. And I'm going to just put that here. Again, I'm going to turn off the bright light radius to 0, do the dim light radius just around that cage. I'm going to bring it down to 6. Let's see if that, there we go, right around 6. And we're going to make this more of a, let's say it, let's do an orange color, bright orange color. Okay, boom. And we'll turn up that intensity really bright. And this is dim light. And we are going to do no, not a hexstone. Let's do an energy field there. So this energy is kind of enveloping them. Let's turn down there we go, and turn this up, animation, there we go. So we've updated the light. So now what's going to happen is the statue is going to start changing and emanate this kind of light throughout the chamber. You're going to be, or the character is going to be locked in this cell going through this transformation into and out of a werewolf. They've got this light around them happening through the ceremony. And the last thing I'm going to do is, while the characters are going through the ceremony and they're locked in here, I'm going to make them invisible, and all of a sudden a werewolf appears there, and the person that's conducting the ceremony becomes invisible, and the werewolf appears, and then they listen to the ceremonial music. So that's the process which I'm going to go through here. So I'll go ahead and do the entire demonstration for you here. So just a quick recap here with our lighting that we've done is we've got the blue water lighting. I'll drag a character in there for you can see what it looks like in the different areas really quick. We'll just put Esmeralda right here. And we're going to put her outside. We're going to put her on the stairwells as well so you can see what it looks like on the stairwell. So I'm going to show you the character and the walls and the stairwell. So she's here. She can see their stairs going upwards. Let's redo the Fog of War real quick for it from the character's perspective so they don't see anything. And here she is. This is what she sees when she goes up the stairway. It's lit again. She can see there's more stairs. It's lit again. And so that's what those walls I put in there for, so she can't see everything. Let's again go back down here and show her by the water. So she can see everything's lit up, and then the water itself has got this own unique color going on, special effects. And if we take her outside, let's just take her outside really quick so you can see that effect as well. I'll just drag her out here. There she is. There's two of them. And so you can see that she can see the entire outside lit up. And from her perspective, she can see that there's some lights in the cave. And she has this outdoor lighting. So let's go through the ceremony really quick so you can all see that. So the process of this ceremony is this. As the Dungeon Master, we're going to be in the right-clicking and turning these off. The character is going to go into this cell over here, and you're going to describe the scene. You've locked yourself in the cell. The person that's performing the ceremony has stepped into the room, and you can feel this energies begin to emit from the statue in the center of the room. And you just click that on like this. What your characters will see is they're going to be in there, and they're going to see this scene happen. And now while the scene is going on, I'm going to go ahead and play the music and see if you can guess what the ceremony music is. So let me turn that on, and I'll go ahead and play with the lights as you listen. So, were you able to guess what it was? If so, go ahead and put your answer in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Dungeon Master tip videos. Again, this is Parm King. Thank you for spending your time with me, and may all your rolls be critical 20.